Right now, as you read this, millions of men are being systematically destroyed by lies they don't even know exist. Destroyed, not hurt, not wounded, destroyed. And you're probably one of them. Society says relationships are about love and partnership, but the truth is, modern relationships are psychological battlefields where you are being tested, manipulated, and controlled through lies so subtle you mistake them for love. And no one tells you this because the system needs you to remain blind, weak, and obedient. You're caught in a psychological chess game, and you don't even know you're playing. Every move you make, every word you say, every concession you allow, everything is being catalogued, analyzed, used against you. The board was set up before you even met her. The pieces were already positioned, and you, naive, thought it was about love. Peter was 40 years old, a successful businessman, owned his home, drove an imported car. Everything society says a man needs to have. Anna, his wife, started subtly. "Honey, Julia got a new handbag from her husband." It was a Thursday afternoon. Peter was reviewing contracts, tired, vulnerable. The phrase was planted with surgical precision. Peter bought Anna a handbag. Not just any handbag, the same brand, only more expensive. Anna smiled. That smile Peter mistook for happiness. It was satisfaction. Satisfaction at seeing the test work. Then it was, "Marina's house has a pool. It would be so good for the kids." It was Sunday. Peter was relaxed watching football. Anna waited for the exact moment. Between the first and second half, Peter took out a loan, 36 installments, compound interest. Anna already had the bank chosen, had already done the online simulation. "You work so much I barely see you anymore." The timing was always perfect. Always when Peter was most tired, most vulnerable, most willing to do anything for peace. Peter started working even harder to pay off the debts. 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. The office became his second home. No, the office became his first home. The house with the pool was just the place where he slept between shifts. Anna remained unsatisfied. Something was always missing. The pool needed heating. The car needed to be replaced. The children needed private school. Peter developed cardiac arrhythmia. The doctors said it was stress. Anna said he was exaggerating the stress. "All men work, Peter. You're being dramatic." Peter had a heart attack at 42. Tuesday, 2:23 p.m. Anna was at the mall when it happened. Buying a new dress with the credit card, Peter had increased the limit on the previous week. It took her 3 hours to get to the hospital. She said her phone battery was dead. Peter survived. Anna was disappointed by the amount of the life insurance she didn't receive. And now comes the part that will truly destroy you. The part that will make you question every interaction you've ever had. The 7 lies I'm about to reveal are not mistakes. They are not misunderstandings. They are calculated moves on a chessboard where you are the pawn being sacrificed. Each of these lies has been refined through generations, passed from mother to daughter as a secret inheritance, perfected in WhatsApp groups, validated in therapy sessions, and you will recognize all of them because you have fallen for all of them. First lie, the compliance test. "If you really loved me," that phrase, those 5 words, they are a weapon pointed at your emotional head. It's the trigger being pulled in slow motion. If you really loved me, you'd cancel your plans. If you really loved me, you'd leave your friends. If you really loved me, you'd change who you are. It's a test, a pure test. She knows you love her. The question isn't love. It was never about love. The question is how far you will bend, how far you will give in, how far you will destroy yourself to prove something that doesn't need to be proven. The test starts small, microscopic. If you loved me, you wouldn't wear that shirt. You change the shirt, it seems harmless, it's just a shirt. But it's not about the shirt. It's about establishing the precedent. It's about creating the pattern. It's about programming your mind to associate love with sacrifice, love with change, love with loss of identity. John, 32, an engineer, received this bomb every Friday night. The ritual was always the same. 6:30 p.m., John would grab his keys. Mary would start the act. "I feel so lonely when you go out with your friends. Don't you love me enough to stay with me?" Her eyes moist. Her tone of voice calculated between hurt and accusation. Her body language that of an abandoned victim. The first time he argued, "Honey, it's only once a week. I need to see my friends," Mary cried. John went anyway. Mary didn't speak to him for 3 days. The second time he negotiated. "How about I go out every other week?" Mary accepted. For 2 weeks. Then the test returned. The third time he gave in. "Okay, I'll stay." Mary rewarded him. Sex, affection, attention, for exactly 1 week. Then she returned to her normal mode. Distant, cold, always on her phone. The 6th time he didn't even try to go out anymore. His friends stopped calling. John became Mary, they would say among themselves. A year later, John had no more friends, no more hobbies, no more identity. He was just an extension of Mary, a satellite orbiting around her. Mary had total control of his schedule, every minute accounted for, every activity approved or vetoed. And you know what happened? Mary lost all respect for him. She started treating him like an obedient dog, because that's what he had become, a dog that sits when told, that lies down when ordered, that begs for scraps of affection. The progression is mathematical, predictable, infallible. You give in. She tests more. You give in again. She loses respect. You beg. She despises you. You accept. She controls you. The cycle is complete. You are domesticated, emotionally castrated, a relational eunuch living to serve a queen who despises you. It's over. But here's the sordid detail no one mentions. She doesn't want you weak. She tests you to see if you are strong. When you give in, you fail the test. She wanted you to say no. She needed you to hold your ground, but you gave in. And now she hates you for it. Hates you for being weak. Hates you for not being the man she imagined. Hates you for passing the wrong test. Some will rationalize, but she just wants to spend time with me. Stop, breathe, think. If she really wanted to spend time with you, she would make that time enjoyable. She would make that time special. She wouldn't use emotional blackmail. She wouldn't use manipulation. She wouldn't turn every interaction into an emotional minefield. And that's exactly what every victim thinks before completely losing their identity. Second lie, strategic victimization. No one understands me like you do. This is the trap of false vulnerability. She presents herself as a fragile creature only you can save. Only you understand. Only you can protect. Only you are special enough. It's cocaine for the male ego. You feel like the hero, the protector, the chosen one, the only man in the world capable of healing her wounds. But it's a prison, a gilded cage where you are both the jailer and the prisoner. The construction is elaborate. First, she shares a secret, something she's never told anyone. You feel special, chosen. Then another secret, and another, each one heavier than the last. Childhood, trauma, abusive ex-boyfriend, dysfunctional family, toxic friendships, harassing boss, cruel world, always her against the world. And you? You are the shield, the savior, the only point of light in her darkness. She cries. You console. It's always at night, always when you're tired, always when your defenses are down. The tears are real. She learned to cry on command at 14. The pain seems real. She practiced in the mirror. She has a problem. You solve it. You always solve it. You cancel your plans to solve it. You spend your money to solve it. You sacrifice your sleep to solve it. She's sad. You abandon everything. Important meeting, cancel. Work deadline, postpone. Family commitment, invent an excuse. She needs. You provide. Always her, never you. And when you need, when you're at rock bottom, you're a man. You have to be strong. I can't stand to see you like this. It makes me more depressed. You've always been my safe harbor. You can't falter now. The vulnerability is unidirectional. The support is unidirectional. The sacrifice is unidirectional. Mark met Isabel at a party. She was crying in the corner, makeup smeared, red dress, broken high heel. It was an act, but Mark didn't know. Abusive ex-boyfriend. He's here at the party, I'm scared. Mark became the instant protector. He took her home, stayed until dawn, making sure she was okay. Isabel had her first victim. Family that didn't understand her. My father never accepted me as I am. Fake friends. They're just jealous of me. Each story carefully crafted, every detail designed to activate the male protective instinct. Mark became the full-time savior. 6 months later, Mark was paying her rent. It's just until I get back on my feet. Her therapy. I need to process. My traumas. Her shopping. Looking pretty helps my self-esteem. Isabel continued to have crises. Always a new tragedy. Always a new emergency. 2 a.m. Mark, I need you. 5 a.m. I had a nightmare about him. Sunday morning. I'm having an anxiety attack. Mark ran, always ran. Abandoned everything and ran. Mark exhausted his savings, $30,000 in 8 months. When Mark lost his job, the company went bankrupt, it wasn't his fault, and needed support. Isabel said he was being dramatic. You always find another job, stop the drama. And she went to spend the weekend at her friend's house with the abusive ex-boyfriend, the same one who never existed. A weak man explains, a strong man acts. A wise man recognizes the pattern and leaves. Third lie, gentle gaslighting. You're imagining things. Your perception is wrong, always wrong. Your memory is failing. Your feelings are exaggerated. You're crazy, too sensitive, paranoid, insecure, problematic. She never said that. You misunderstood. That's not how it happened. You're creating problems where none exist. Reality becomes malleable, negotiable, relative. Gaslighting is a refined art. It's not crude denial. It's a subtle deconstruction of your reality. First, she plants doubt. Are you sure that's what I said? You are sure, but the question lingers, the seed is planted. Then she distorts. I said X, but you understood Y because you always distort everything. Now you are the problem. Your perception is the problem. Your interpretation is the problem. Richard, 35, a graphic designer, started noticing messages on her phone late at night. The phone vibrated. Gabriel quickly picked it up, smiled, typed, put it away. Richard asked casually, "Who's that guy texting you at 2 a.m.? The answer was immediate, rehearsed. What guy? You're imagining things. But Richard had seen the name, the photo, the notification. Honey, I saw the notification. You didn't see anything, it was dark, you were sleepy. Richard waited. 3 nights later, same pattern. This time he was more direct. He showed her the notification he managed to screenshot. Oh, it's just a coworker, you're being ridiculous. Coworker, 2 a.m., message with hearts. Ridiculous is a message with hearts at 2 a.m. There were no hearts, you're making things up, you need therapy. 3 months of you're being ridiculous later. 3 months of you're too insecure. 3 months of you have trust issues. 3 months of Richard questioning his own sanity. Was he exaggerating? Was he being paranoid? Was he the problem? Richard installed a message recovery app, discovered the affair. 6 months of explicit conversations, photos, videos, meetings during work meetings. You know what she said? If you weren't so insecure and jealous, I wouldn't need to seek attention elsewhere. It was his fault. For discovering, for distrusting, for not being blind, for not accepting, for not swallowing, for not erasing himself. The betrayal was the victim's fault. Complete gaslighting. Reality became negotiable. Truth became relative. Your sanity became questionable. And you started to doubt yourself instead of doubting her. Gaslighting is so effective that you gaslight yourself. You rationalize the irrational, justify the unjustifiable, accept the unacceptable. You're thinking, but sometimes I really do exaggerate. Congratulations. The programming worked. You're already gaslighting yourself. You've already internalized her narrative. You've already accepted that your perception is unreliable. You've already agreed that you are the problem. The matrix is complete. 4th lie. Emotional logic. But I just feel like feelings have become irrefutable facts. Emotions have become unchallengeable arguments. Impulses have become absolute justifications. I know it doesn't make sense, but my heart says we need to. We need that car we can't afford. That trip that will put us in debt. That bigger apartment that will consume 70% of our income. That expensive party that will max out the card. That radical change that will destroy everything we've built. And when you try to apply logic, you don't understand feelings. You're cold, calculating, heartless, a robot, insensitive. Emotional logic is the wild card in the manipulation deck. It can be used to justify anything, any decision, any absurdity. I feel like you should earn more. It doesn't matter that you work 60 hours a week. I feel like we deserve to live better. It doesn't matter that you already live beyond your means. I feel like you don't love me enough. It doesn't matter what you do to show love. Charles, a financial consultant, made spreadsheets, detailed budgets, 5-year projections, colorful charts, PowerPoint presentations, all to show Beatrice that they needed to save, that they needed to invest, that they needed to think about the future. Beatrice didn't look at the spreadsheets. Beatrice felt, I feel like we deserve to live better. It was the mantra, repeated daily, like a prayer, like a curse. I feel like you should earn more, as if feeling generated money, as if desire paid bills. I feel like we need this now. The now was always urgent, always unpostponable, always top priority. Charles tried to explain mathematics, compound interest, inflation, opportunity cost. Beatrice responded with tears. Tears have no logic. Tears don't respect mathematics. Tears melt spreadsheets. Charles gave in, always gave in. Credit card, special limit, personal loan, refinancing. The debt spiral has many names. All start with I feel like. Progressive indebtedness, exponential stress, money fights multiplied. Beatrice felt that the problem was Charles not earning enough, never that she was spending too much. Her feelings were valid. His numbers were cold. Feelings have no limits. Feelings have no consequences. Feelings are always valid, always urgent, always priority. About yours. Your feelings are irrelevant. You're worried about money, just work harder. You're tired, everyone is. You're stressed, you don't know what real stress is. Only her feelings count. Only her emotions matter. Only her desires are valid. Fifth lie, the threat of scarcity. Others want me. The ex who texted. He still loves me, you know? The friend who was always in love. He confessed yesterday, I didn't know what to say. The co-worker who invites her to lunch. He's so attentive, always asks how I am. The guy at the gym who looks at her. He's a personal trainer, has an amazing body. They are all there, waiting, wanting, desiring, ready to take the place you don't deserve. And she makes sure you know. It's not a direct threat, never a direct threat. It's a constant reminder, subtle, calculated, strategic. You are replaceable. You are an option. You need to try harder, need to prove more, need to give in more, because if not, artificial scarcity is methodically created. First, she mentions others' interest casually. Funny, the Uber driver commented that I'm pretty. Seems innocent, but the seed is planted. Then, more frequently, the coffee guy always gives me a discount. The pressure increases. Then comes the blow. My ex called me yesterday, wanted to talk. Strategic pause. She observes your reaction, measures your desperation, calibrates the manipulation. But I told him I was with you, as if it were a favor, as if it were a difficult choice, as if you should be grateful, and you are grateful, and insecure, and you try harder. And she knows it, she counts on it. He asked me to dinner, but I refused. Should you give her a medal? He said he still thinks about me, and you should compete with a ghost. He has a company now, he's doing very well. The comparison is implicit. You don't have a company, you're not doing so well, you are less, always less. David, 29, a junior architect, lived in this particular hell. Louise kept her ex on Instagram. We're friends. Friends who knew each other biblically. Friends who lived together. Friends who almost married. The guy commented on all her photos. Always compliments. Always disguised longing. It's polite to respond. Is it polite to string an ex along? Is it polite to keep hope alive? Is it polite to disrespect your current partner? The ex sent messages late, always after midnight, always when David was working or sleeping. He's going through a tough time. Every ex is always going through a tough time when the ex is with someone else. It's a manual, it's a protocol, it's a script. He invited her for coffee. It's just to talk, you trust me, right? The cursed question. If you say you don't trust her, you're insecure. If you say you trust her and forbid it, you're controlling. If you allow it, you're a fool. David trusted. David was modern. David was deconstructed. David was secure. David was the evolved man who wasn't jealous. David discovered screenshots of conversations. By accident, Louise left WhatsApp web open, Louise still loved her ex, always did, never stopped loving him. David was just the financially stable plan B, the safe harbor, the provider, the placeholder, while she waited for the ex to mature, find his way, settle professionally. David was financing the wait, paying the bills while she kept her heart on standby for another. The choice is yours, to be someone's plan A who sees you as plan B, or to be plan A for someone who sees you as their only plan. A desperate man begs, "Please, don't talk to him anymore." A man of value leaves. Choose, me or him, now. A wise man doesn't even enter the game. Ex on Instagram? Next. Sixth lie, the innocent friend. He's just a friend, the best friend she met in college, before you, who knows all her secrets, who has all the memories. Who was there first? The co-worker who always helps, with rides, with lunch, with a shoulder to cry on, with everything you should be doing. The personal trainer who gives special attention, personalized training, personal WhatsApp, extra motivation, hands where they shouldn't be. The neighbor who always shows up when you're not there, when something breaks, when she needs something, when she's alone. They're all just friends. You're the one who's insecure, jealous, controlling, toxic, possessive, archaic, sexist. If you trusted her, you wouldn't have a problem. If you were mature, you'd understand. If you loved her, you'd accept it. But let's dissect the anatomy of the friend. The friend is always available, more than you. The friend always understands, more than you. The friend always supports, unconditionally. The friend never demands, never questions, never confronts. The friend is the beta version who accepts crumbs hoping to become an alpha. And she knows, she always knew. Women always know when a friend wants more, always, without exception, and they keep them around anyway. Why? Validation, option, power, control. Andrew, 34, a resident doctor, met Paige on Tinder. First date, she mentioned Paul, my best friend. Second date, Paul called. She answered. Talked for 15 minutes. Andrew waiting. Third date. Paul and I are going to the movies tomorrow. You don't mind, right? Andrew did mind. But a modern man can't mind. An evolved man trusts. A deconstructed man accepts. Paul was her best friend. They went to the movies together every Tuesday. It's our tradition. They had dinner together every Saturday. He can't cook. They traveled together before Andrew came along. Beach, cabin, double bed. We split it to save money. We slept dressed. Andrew swallowed, swallowed hard, swallowed bitter, swallowed poison. Paul was always present. At barbecues, sitting next to her, at birthdays, taking photos, hugging, at parties, dancing together, in her emergencies, always the first to arrive. Paul was the first call when something happened. My tire went flat. Paul. I fought with my mum. Paul. I'm sad. Paul. Andrew was the second option. Always. In everything. One day, Andrew came home early from his shift. Exhausted. 36 hours awake. Just wanted to sleep. The door was unlocked. Strange. He entered. Silence. Bedroom. Paul was coming out of the bathroom. The bedroom bathroom, wet hair only in a towel, shirt in hand, inside out. Paige came out behind. Him. Robe. Messy hair. Andrew, you're home early. Paul was fixing the sink. At 3 a.m. The sink in the master bathroom, which wasn't broken. Paul is a plumber in his spare time. Who knew? Paige said Andrew was exaggerating, that it was his insecurity talking, that nothing happened, that he was crazy from exhaustion, that he was seeing things, creating things, inventing things. You know exactly what's happening. She knows you know, and she knows you won't do anything. Because a modern man accepts, an evolved man trusts, a deconstructed man isn't toxic, and she counts on that. Seventh lie, the hero test. Only you can help me. The car that broke down. Always at the most inconvenient time. Always when you have something important. Always far away. Always urgent. The computer with a virus. Always with important work. Always with a deadline. Always desperate. The apartment move, always last minute, always poorly planned, always needing muscle. The fight with her friend, always dramatic. Always she is the victim. always needs validation, the problem at work, always others' fault, always injustice, always conspiracy. The family crisis, always intense, always urgent, always unpostponable, always something, always urgent, always dramatic, and only you can solve it. Only you have the ability. Only you care enough. Only you are man enough. It's another test disguised as a need. She doesn't need you. She has a father, brother, cousins, friends, Uber, insurance, 24/7 roadside assistance, credit card, money, options. She doesn't specifically need you. She needs to see how far you'll go, needs to measure your desperation, needs to quantify your subservience, needs to confirm her control. Charles, a businessman, the same one from the fourth lie before Beatrice, was Sophia's on-call hero during grad school. Sophia was rich, entrepreneur father, doctor mother, own apartment, brand new car. But she always needed Charles. Flat tire at 11 p.m. Sophia had insurance with towing, but she called Charles. Charles drove 40 minutes, changed the tire. Sophia posted a photo on Instagram. My hero. Without tagging Charles, without showing his face, just his dirty hands working. Computer problem. Sophia had an extended warranty, premium tech support, but she called Charles. Charles spent Sunday fixing it, formatting, installing, configuring. Sophia browsed Instagram, chatted on WhatsApp with others, while Charles worked. You're so good at this, throwing crumbs, keeping the hamster on the wheel. Needs a ride? Sophia had a car, 2 actually, but the tank was empty, or it was in for service or loaned to a cousin, always an excuse. Charles reorganized his schedule, cancelled meetings, postponed commitments, drove across town, Sophia in the back seat, on her phone, always on her phone. You're an angel. Angel driver. Angel mechanic. Angel tech. Angel fool. And then, after everything was resolved, oh, it wasn't that hard, my cousin could have done it. Systematic minimization. Calculated devaluation. You did everything and it was nothing. You tried hard and it was easy. You are useful, but not special. You are convenient, but not necessary. You are a tool, not a person. So you try harder, do more, sacrifice more, arrive faster, stay longer, solve better, and it's never enough. It will never be enough. Because the test isn't about the help. It was never about the help. The test is about control, about power, about having you on an invisible leash, running when called, sitting when told, begging for approval. Wait, it gets worse, much worse. Do you know why you fall for these lies? Because the entire system is structured for you to fall. Is it a conspiracy? No, it's worse. It's consensus, it's culture, it's normal, it's just how things are. It's always been this way. You're the problem for questioning. Couples therapy will tell you that you need to work on communication. Literal translation, you need to learn to give in more efficiently. You need to verbalize your surrender better. You need to articulate your submission. Society will say that relationships require compromise. Translation, compromise is you compromising everything you are. It's you committing to cease to exist. It's you making unilateral concessions and calling it mature love. Your family will say, happy wife, happy life. Your mother who spent 40 years serving your father. Your grandmother who never had a voice. Your aunt who smiles while dying inside. All repeating the mantra, all perpetuating the cycle, all ensuring you are as miserable as they were. Real translation, your happiness is irrelevant. Your well-being is optional. Your mental health is a luxury. You exist to provide, protect, pay, and die in silence. The legal system? If she decides you are abusive for setting boundaries, good luck proving otherwise. Domestic violence laws, restraining orders, her word against yours. Guess who wins? If she decides you, how controlling her by questioning expenses, financial abuse. If she decides you are mistreating her by not giving in, psychological abuse. The system presumes your guilt, always. The media? Every movie, every series, every book shows the man bending, sacrificing, destroying himself for love, and they call it romantic, noble, evolution. The guy who crosses the country to win her back, who insists after 1,000 no's, who changes everything about himself, and in the end, he gets the girl. Lie. In real life, he gets anxiety, depression, and alimony. Therapists, you need to understand her side. Always her side. You need to be more empathetic. Always more empathetic. You need to work on your insecurities. Always your insecurities. You need to deconstruct your toxic masculinity. Always your masculinity. Never her behavior. Never her manipulation. Never her toxicity. Always you. The problem is always you. Your friends, the few who are left. Stop being a wimp. That's just how it is. You're complaining with a full belly. At least you have someone, crabs in a bucket, pulling you back to the bottom. Because if they're trapped, you have to be too. If they're unhappy, you have to be too. No, one can escape. Everyone must suffer equally. No one tells you this because the system needs weak men. Men who work themselves to death without questioning. Men who pay bills without complaining. Men who accept everything without resisting. Men who don't question. Men who don't resist. Men who don't escape. Men who accept. Men who blame themselves. Men who give in. Men who die young and leave a pension. The system doesn't want you to know the truth. The system needs you to remain blind, deaf, mute, obedient. You're thinking, but not all women are like that. That's exactly the programming that keeps you vulnerable. It's the same logic as saying not all loaded guns fire. Technically true, practically irrelevant. Would you play Russian roulette because not all chambers have a bullet? That's exactly what every destroyed man thought before being destroyed. Mine is different. She's not like that. It will be different with me. Peter thought that. John thought that. Charles thought that. Richard thought that. David thought that. Andrew thought that. They all thought that. They were all wrong. So what do you do? How do you escape? How do you survive? How do you win a game? Where the rules are secret, the board is tilted and you start losing. First action, identify the pattern. When she speaks, pause. Don't respond immediately. Take a deep breath. Count to 5. Ask yourself, is this a test? Is this a manipulation? Is this one of the 7 lies? Name it internally, out loud if necessary. This is a compliance test. This is victimization. This is gaslighting. Naming it is taking away the emotional power. Naming it is breaking the spell. Naming it is seeing the matrix. Naming it is seeing the move on the board before it happens. Second, action. Don't react, respond. Reaction is emotional, immediate, instinctive. Exactly what she expects, exactly what she wants. Response is strategic, thought out, calculated. She says, if you loved me, you don't argue about your love. Don't justify yourself, don't defend yourself. You respond with absolute calm. I love you and my answer is no. End. Period. No justification. No explanation. No negotiation. No elaboration. No is a complete sentence. No doesn't need a why. No doesn't need an excuse. Third action, establish consequences. Clear, specific, measurable. If you continue questioning my love when I don't give in, I will reconsider. This relationship, it's not a threat, it's information. If you maintain intimate contact with your ex, I will distance myself. It's not an ultimatum, it's a boundary. If you continue invalidating my perception, this conversation is over. It's not blackmail, it's self-preservation, consequences real, immediate. Not empty threats, not hollow promises, concrete actions you are prepared to execute. And here's the game-changing secret. You must be prepared to execute. Truly prepared. Emotionally, financially, logistically. If you are not prepared to execute the consequence, do not establish it. She will test. She always tests. And if you don't execute, you've lost all credibility forever. You're thinking, but she'll leave me. If she leaves you for having boundaries, she had already left a long time ago. Her body was present. Her mind was present. But respect had already died. You were just holding on to an illusion, a ghost, a memory of what never was, embracing wind and calling it love. Fourth action, execute the consequence. Without hesitation, without additional explanation, without drama. Did you say you'd leave if she continued? Get up, grab your things, leave, don't look back, don't wait for her to call, don't answer the phone for at least 24 hours. Did you say the conversation was over? Get up, go to another room, put on headphones, completely ignore her. She doesn't exist for the next few hours. Did you say you'd reconsider? Reconsider for real. Schedule individual therapy, never couples. Consult a lawyer. Open a separate account. Make real moves. Your word must be worth something. To you first, to her second. If you don't respect your own word, why would she? Fifth action, accept the discomfort. She will cry, sob, scream, yell, accuse, blame, manipulate, blackmail, threaten suicide, threaten to destroy you, threaten to tell her. Side to everyone. Test even harder. Increase the pressure. Use every weapon in her arsenal. It's an extinction burst, the predator's last desperate effort before accepting that it lost its prey, the final spasm before accepting that it lost control. Endure. Don't give in. Don't console. Don't explain. Don't justify. Don't negotiate. Stand firm. Stay silent if necessary. The discomfort is temporary. The loss of respect is permanent. Your surrender is irreversible. This is not coldness. This is not cruelty. This is not a lack of love. This is survival. Sixth action. Have options. A man without options is a man without power. A man without power is a man without respect. A man without respect is a man dead in life. I'm not saying to cheat. Never cheat. I'm saying to have a life. Complete, rich, abundant, independent, real friends, not acquaintances, not colleagues, friends. Men you can count on, real hobbies, not pastimes, not distractions, passions. Things that make you get up in the morning. Ambitious projects, not dreams, not wishes. Plans with dates and strategies. A purpose greater than a relationship. Greater than sex. Greater than female validation. Mission. Legacy. Impact. When your whole life is her, you lost before you started. You are a hostage, a slave, a living dead man. When you have a complete life, her tests become irrelevant. The dramas become background noise. The manipulations become jokes. Seventh action, be willing to lose. This is the supreme power, the ultimate power, the power that changes the whole game. The genuine willingness to lose what you have to keep who you are. The willingness to be alone rather than live on your knees. The willingness to be rejected rather than be disrespected. If you are not willing to lose her, you have already lost her. If you cannot imagine life without her, you have already died. If you are not willing to be alone, you are already alone. Worse, you are alone and accompanied. The worst loneliness there is. A paradox? No. Pure mathematics, raw reality. The truth no one tells you. The truth society hides. The truth the system denies. When you stop falling for the lies, one of two things happens. Without exception, without a middle ground. Option 1. She respects you more and the relationship dramatically improves. She stops testing because you pass the real test. She stops manipulating because it doesn't work. She stops lying because you see through it. She treats you like a man because you act like a man. Sex improves. Admiration returns. Desire resurrects. Respect is reborn. Option 2. She leaves and you discover you were in a prison you called love. That you were in an emotional concentration camp you called a relationship. That you were slowly dying and calling it commitment. And freedom is better than any illusion of love. Peace is better than any sex. Self-respect is better than any company. In both cases, you win, always win. It's impossible to lose when you choose yourself. But here's the problem. The real problem. The problem no one wants to admit. Most men reading this will agree. They will save it. They will share it. They will comment. That's right. You said it all. Pure truth. And tomorrow? Tomorrow they will go home and give in again. They will rationalize. Today is not a good day to confront. They will procrastinate. I'll start changing next month. They will delude themselves. She's getting better, I don't need to be radical. Because knowing the lies is not enough, knowing is not power. You need to have the courage to live the truth, and courage is the scarcest resource in the modern world. You have one life, one, unique, finite, limited. The clock is ticking, now, this second, tick-tock, tick-tock. Every day you spend giving in is a day you will never get back, never. No refund, no replay, no second chance. Every time you swallow a lie, a piece of your soul dies, permanently, irreversibly. Every time you accept disrespect, a piece of your future you throw away. In the trash, in the sewer, into the void. You are getting older. Look in the mirror. The wrinkles, the grey hairs, the belly, the weariness in your eyes. Your friends are disappearing one by one, getting married, having children, disappearing, dying. Your energy is running out. Remember when you could stay up all night, when you could play soccer for hours, when you had dreams, when you had hope. Your vitality is dying, your testosterone falling, your libido disappearing, your strength evaporating. And for what? For what this slow death? To keep someone who doesn't respect you close? To finance the life of someone who despises you? To be the clown in the court of someone who laughs at you behind your back? Peter, the businessman from the beginning, died at 42. Sudden heart attack. Anna remarried 6 months later. 6 months. To a man 10 years younger. A personal trainer who doesn't give in, who doesn't negotiate, who says no. The same personal trainer Peter paid for her. Peter financed his own replacement. Anna posted wedding photos in the same venue where she married Peter. Some of Peter's friends went, smiling, as if Peter had never existed. John, the engineer, developed severe depression, panic disorder, can no longer leave the house. Mary left him because he became too negative, too heavy, too difficult. She's with a guy who goes out with his friends every Friday, who has a band, who travels with his buddies, who says no. Mary posts happy stories, radiant, in love. The same Mary who said she needed John 24/7. John takes 3 medications to sleep. Charles, the financial consultant, personal bankruptcy, lost everything, house, car, dignity. Beatrice disappeared when the money ran out. It's not about money, Charles, it's that you changed. Charles didn't change, the bank account changed. Sophia, the grad student, dating the guy Charles introduced her to. The guy who laughed when Charles told him about the favors he did. The guy who said, "You're a fool, man." The guy who doesn't fix anything for her, who doesn't pick her up, who she chases, who she serves, like Charles wanted to be served. Richard, the designer, still pays alimony to Gabrielle. 3 years after the separation, Gabrielle lives with the co-worker. Richard pays the rent where another man sleeps. Richard works 12 hours a day to pay for the life of the one who betrayed him. Justice is blind, but only for men. David, the architect, attempted suicide, survived, barely. Louise said he was always unstable, that she tried to help, that she did her best, married the ex, the same one who was a problem, the same one who was abusive, the same one she used to hook David. It was all a lie, always was. David still takes antidepressants, still goes to therapy, still blames himself. Andrew, the doctor, lost everything in the asset division. Paige claimed common law marriage, 2 years living together. Andrew paid for everything, lost half. Paul lives with her now, in the house Andrew bought, in the bed Andrew paid for, with the woman Andrew supported. Andrew lives in a studio apartment, eats ramen, works double shifts to pay alimony to the woman who cheated on him, with the friend. They were you, before reading this, before knowing the truth, before having the chance you have now, the chance to choose differently, to be different, to live differently, to die differently. There are 2 types of men reading this, only 2. No middle ground, no gray area. Those who will continue to be pieces on other people's board. They will rationalize that my case is different, like Peter, rationalized. She loves me in her own way, like John justified. She's just insecure. Like Charles deluded himself, they will find excuses, elaborate, creative, convenient. They will say, it's not quite like that it's more complex, that each case is unique. They will continue to give in, today, tomorrow, always, tested like laboratory rats, controlled like puppets, manipulated like Play-Doh. They will grow old regretting, looking back, asking themselves, what if? They will die empty, without legacy, without respect, without a story. They will be forgotten, a week after the funeral, as if they had never existed. And those who will choose to be players, not pieces, players, they will see the whole board, from above, with clarity. They will recognize the moves before they happen. They will anticipate the plays. They will establish ironclad boundaries, non-negotiable, insurmountable, They will keep their word as sacred, to themselves first. They will choose respect over companionship, always, without exception. They will choose dignified solitude over a degrading partnership, and discover that dignified solitude isn't even loneliness, it's freedom, it's peace, it's power. The question isn't whether you're being tested, you are, right now. The question isn't whether they're trying to control you, they are, constantly. The question isn't whether you're falling for lies, you are, several. The question is, what are you going to do now that you know? The real question, the only one that matters, the one that defines everything. Will you keep pretending you didn't see this? Keep living in the emotional matrix where you are the sacrificial hero of a story that isn't yours? Keep playing a role in a script someone else wrote? Keep dying little by little, cell by cell, day after day, giving in little by little, disappearing little by little, until nothing is left but an empty shell that was once a man? Or will you wake up, now, today, at this moment, this second, before you finish reading, before you close this text, before you go back to your normal life, before it's too late? But I already know which one you will choose, because if you've come this far, if you've read every word, every example, every story, if you've recognized every pattern, every manipulation, every lie, you already know the truth. And the truth is, you are tired, exhausted, drained, tired of giving in without receiving, tired of losing who you are, tired of not being respected, tired of being a walking test for others' insecurities, tired of financing the life of those who don't value you, tired of being the villain in the story where you are the only victim. You deserve better, not because you are special, not because you are unique, but because you are a man. And real men don't live on their knees. They don't beg for crumbs of affection like abandoned dogs. They don't negotiate their dignity for sporadic sex. They don't sell their soul for an illusion of love. They don't die slowly to keep someone alive. They don't sacrifice themselves at the altar of insatiable feminine egos. She knows exactly what she's doing, always has. Since the first test, since the first fake tear, since the first manipulation. It's not unconscious. It's not innocent, it's not a misunderstanding, it's strategy, it's calculation. It's psychological warfare, and she's winning because you don't even know you're at war. And now you know too. The veil has fallen, the matrix has been exposed, the game has been revealed, the code has been broken. Use this knowledge, not tomorrow, today, not later, now. Implement these actions, one by one, methodically, relentlessly. Protect your energy as if your life depends on it. Because it does. Guard your worth for those who deserve it. Respect your boundaries as laws of physics. Honor your word as a sacrament. Choose yourself. Always yourself. Above all else. Above everyone else. Because in the end, when all is said and done, when the games are over and the masks fall, when you are on your deathbed looking back, only one question will remain. Did you live as a man or die as a doormat? One question. One choice. One life. The choice is yours. The choice was always yours. You were just waiting for permission to choose. Permission granted. Now choose. Before it's too late. Before you become the next Peter, the next John, the next Charles. Before you become the next cautionary tale someone tells. Choose now. Choose yourself. Choose to live as a man. Not as a shadow. Not as a slave. Not as a doormat. As a man. It's that or slow death. There is no third option. There never was. Choose.